You've just got a Hammersmith and Fulham PCN. Ignore it and things could get a lot worse. The last thing you want is the fine to increase, or to have a debt collector coming to bang on your door. But that doesn't mean you have to pay instantly. Successfully appealing a PCN isn't nearly as hard as many people imagine. I'll show you how. Firstly, it's important not to treat your parking charge notice or PCN like any other private parking tickets. PCNs from the council work very differently from private parking tickets. A PCN is actually a fine, while a private parking ticket is more similar to an invoice you have to pay. So you should never ignore your PCN. It will only get worse. In fact, if you don't pay or appeal within 28 days, you'll often find that the fine increases quickly, sometimes by up to 50%. And before we talk about how to appeal, it's important to remember that if you pay your Hammersmith and Fulham PCN within 14 days of receiving the fine, you'll be able to get a 50% reduction in the fee. So if you don't actually have a good reason to appeal, you might want to pay sooner. So how do you actually appeal? Well, someone from Hammersmith and Fulham Council will have either given you the PCN in person by leaving it on your car, or you'll have received a letter about it in the post. How you received the PCN will determine what you should do next. If you received it in person or found it on your car, then you need to make an informal appeal to the council first. Normally it involves writing a letter that details why you think that the PCN was wrongly issued. If that informal appeal is rejected, you can escalate your appeal to a formal appeal, or representation as they're sometimes called. You may want to gather even more evidence for a formal appeal. If you received your PCN as a letter through the door, then you won't be able to write an informal appeal and you'll have to skip straight to the formal appeal process. Without a doubt, the hardest part of all this is writing the letter itself. You'll need to gather up the evidence that you think is in your favour and lay it out clearly for the council to judge. There are lots of good reasons to appeal a PCN. Maybe some kind of emergency prevented you from returning to your car on time, or perhaps your car had broken down. You might even want to grab your phone and return to the scene of the crime to check the surroundings. If signs are obstructed or the road markings aren't clear, you can photograph it as evidence for your letter. If you want to make sure your appeal is as strong as possible, then one popular option is to consult a solicitor. There are many online solicitors that work out cheaper and easier than meeting in person. JustAnswer, for example, only costs £5 for a trial, and I know a guy who saved £271 on his ticket using their service. I've linked that offer in the description, and if you use that, you'll also be supporting Money Nerd, so thank you.